Greetings, brothers of the North Central Province. My name is Brother Jermaine Pearson. I am a fall 2005 initiative of the Kappa Phi Chapter. So excited to be with you today and share a little bit about my experiences through Kappa, specifically the Undergraduate Leadership Institute. I'm a proud beta class fellow. That was summer of 2006. I can't believe it's been almost 18 years since that time has taken place. And man, a lot has changed since then. I'm excited to share a little bit about my journey, what I've been up to. And I just want to say, I want to give a shout out to Brother Lanier Cole, who was my former Kappa advisor for my undergraduate chapter. He had recommended that I participate in this program. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. When they sent out the call, I really wasn't interested. Not that it wasn't a great program, because it sounded like an amazing program, but there is something called neo-fatigue that we don't talk about. I hit the ground running fall 2005, and it was nonstop. And they always say it's much harder after you become a member and all the work that you have to do. And I was fatigued, and I didn't feel like doing anything for the summer Kappa related. That's just where I was. And so they recommended me. I didn't apply. And then I get an email from the undergraduate director of undergraduate affairs, Brother Andre Early at the time, saying, "Hey, sir, I'm looking for your application. You need to submit this immediately." And so whenever a big brother in Kappa says immediately, that means you need to get to it yesterday. And so I submitted my application, and I was accepted. And I was so glad to be one of 5 or 6 brothers from the undergraduate North Central Province to represent the province. And so when I first got there, it was very quiet. And I remember heading to Atlanta. It was my first time ever being in Atlanta, and just being with the brothers. We all got there. It was extremely hot, and we were at a hotel on top of Stone Mountain. And I remember just being up at looking at overlooking the city, overlooking the state. I'm like, man, this is something. I felt really close to God, to be quite honest with you, because it was just an amazing feeling. And also knowing about Stone Mountain and the history behind it, and hearing Martin Luther King about how let freedom ring from Stone Mountain, that all came to me, and I'm like, wow, it is truly a privilege to be in that space. And so it was an amazing 5 or 6 day week throughout my summer in July. One of the things that I remember was really bonding with brothers from other provinces and chapters. And of course, we bonded with brothers from the North Central Province, but I really got a chance to meet brothers from the Western Province, brothers from the Southern Province, and just get a chance to see what they do and how they do things. And it was like a community of practice. We were able to share best practices about what our chapters were doing, especially for those smaller chapters who only had about 10, 15 members like we did at the time. And so I remember talking to them, seeing with some things that they were doing that was successful. And I'll never forget, they told me how they did cuts for Kappa. Kappa cuts, and so how they would bring barbers on campus and give free haircuts. And so I ended up taking that idea back to my home chapter and partnering with the NAACP and doing Kappa cuts. And so those who signed up for to vote would get a free haircut. And it was a very successful event. It was nothing had been done like that before on campus at the University of Illinois Chicago. And so I just remember those exchanging of ideas, exchanging of stories, even strolls. We would stay up late at night, probably 1 o'clock, 2 in the morning, learning strolls from other chapters. This is pre-YouTube, you all. So this is something before we had social media to learn other strolls. We went to parties in other chapters and other provinces to see what they were doing. And we were able to do that right there together. And we learned different strolls. And it was just an amazing experience getting to know the brothers. I definitely grew as a leader. And when I say, when I walked into the conference or the institute, the program, I was burnt out. I was burnt out because I felt like I was doing a lot because we were a small chapter. But that motivated me to go forward a little bit more. Just seeing that there were other brothers like me in my same situation who were doing the work of Kappa. And it was one of those life-changing experiences. I will never forget. I said, you know what? I want to run for a board position after being there and networking with other members who were board members across their provinces. I hung out with a lot of the grand undergraduate board of directors, and we're still very good friends to this day. And so when you think about 18, 19 years, who would have thought that about 50 men who gathered would still be friends to this day? And whenever there's a conclave, we go back and we participate. And it's just funny seeing how everybody has changed. I want to give a shout out to my brother, David White from Delta Kappa out in Milwaukee. We had known each other through the province circuit, but we didn't really know each other. And we both attended the Undergraduate Leadership Institute together, and we became really good friends. Like really good friends. I'm talking about like going up to Milwaukee and him coming down and going up for birthday parties and graduation celebrations. And so we reconnected this past province, and it's like we picked up right where we left off. And those are the memorable experiences that you get. Those are the things that you cannot replace. And so when I think about my time being at the undergraduate leadership, I think the majority of my friendships from outside of my chapter that I fostered were developed during that time. And so you can't replace that. You can't replace that. One of the things that I do remember that I'm so grateful of being part of the ULI is meeting different mentors in Kappa. There was a brother named Boris Ricks, and Brother Ricks was out in California, and he wore a nice bow tie every time, and I'm like, I was fascinated because we didn't wear bow ties back in the day in undergrad in North Central Province, at least not my chapter. And so a lot of the brothers were wearing bow ties. I'm like, oh, this is cool, because I didn't know how to tie a bow tie at the time. I was 19, 20 years old. I didn't know how to tie a bow tie. And so I remember Boris Ricks teaching me how to tie my first bow tie, and me and other brothers practicing. And I remember things like that. And it's so funny. When they asked me what I've been doing since undergrad, after I left undergraduate, I graduated from Columbia College, Chicago. I moved out to Los Angeles. And I remember that Brother Ricks was actually part of a chapter out there. And it's so funny how life happens. I ended up joining the Long Beach South Bay Inglewood chapter, Long Beach Inglewood South Bay chapter of Kappa Phi Chapter in the Western Province, and was helping to run their Kappa League program. And so it was funny how just life had happened. And so my mentor for the Undergraduate Leadership Institute became a mentor as I grew up and transitioned into adulthood. And so just being at the chapter meetings, being a part of the chapter, I really felt like I had a strong sense of belonging just because of that connection I had. And so you never know what life will take you. You never know what life will take you and the people that you will meet. And so I'm so thankful for brothers that I met, because they mentored me when I transitioned to different provinces. And since then, I have been all over. When you work in higher education, there's this motto: in order to move up, you have to move out. And so I moved from Chicago to Los Angeles, to Atlanta, back to Chicago, to Providence, Rhode Island, to now New Haven, Connecticut. And so I've been working in higher education as a higher education administrator for the past 10 to 12 years. And along my journey, I'm also an ordained minister, but I'm also passionate about the arts. And so you'll see me doing spoken word here and there. You hear me singing some opera songs, perhaps. You see me doing a lot of stuff, maybe even acting in some movies or doing some stage plays. So I've been doing a lot of things since undergrad, but I will say a lot of my talents were birthed in undergrad. A lot of my skills and my gifts were cultivated just being a Kappa, being voluntold to do stuff, because that's what happens. You get voluntold to do stuff when you're younger. And even now, I still get voluntold to do stuff, but that's my gift to the bond. You never stop giving back, because Kappa has given me so much. And so I remember one of my most memorable experiences after I had come back from the Undergraduate Leadership Institute, and I ran for a board of directors position. I got it, and I'll never forget. I don't know how this ended up happening, but I ended up singing for the program for I think Founders Day of Chicago Metroland chapters. And I remember I got nervous, and I was sitting next to my brother Justin Gillespie, my pro fight, and I said, "Hey, brother, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm getting a little bit of anxiety before I sing. Do you have any words of encouragement for me?" And I'll never forget. He said, he said, "Come here. Whatever you do, don't embarrass me." And I said, "Okay." And that was not what I wanted to hear, but Kappa often gives you tough love, but that's what I needed to hear. And it's so funny. I have taken those words throughout every aspect of my career when it comes to performing. So I could be having some anxiety on about to get ready on stage, and I could hear my big brother in the back of my head say, "Whatever you do, don't embarrass me." And I mean that because when I'm on stage, yes, I'm representing myself, but I'm also representing all those who have come before me. I'm representing me. I'm representing my family. I'm representing the bond, because they're gonna know that's that Kappa brother up there, Jermaine. He's doing his thing, and so I represent so many entities. I represent my church, and so I want to make sure that I'm representing well. And so those words, "Whatever you do, don't embarrass me," those carry me throughout everything that I do, whether it's a presentation for a diversity and inclusion workshop, whether if it's being on stage or acting in a play. Don't embarrass me. And so because I realize that I'm not just representing myself, I'm representing so many other people. And I'm so thankful for the bond. I'm thankful for lifelong friendships. I'm thankful for camaraderie. I'm thankful for real friendships fostered through Kappa. I'm thankful for the hard advice. I'm thankful for the critique. Those words that I didn't want to hear but probably needed to hear. I am thankful for just brothers who check up on me, who have always checked up on me, who have served as my father figures, because I didn't really have a father figure growing up in life. And so I'm thankful for my brothers, my older brothers from all the alumni chapters who have mentored me as their little brother, as their adopted son. And so I'm so thankful for everybody who have taken a part in helping me become the man who I am. As a chaplain, as an educator, as a actor, as a poet, all you have played an important role in my life, and I'm so thankful, and I'm filled with gratitude. One piece of advice that I would give to any undergraduate brother right now, if you feel as if that you are doing a lot, and you probably are, I would say make sure you take care of your mental health. Make sure you take care of yourself, and don't get lost in the sauce of being in the spotlight, because that can be very overwhelming for some. And you have to know who you are before you join the fraternity, and what you're trying to do and what your goals are. So make sure that you maintain a sense of self while you're matriculating through undergraduate. So my last piece of advice that I would give to any undergraduate brother, really tap into your alumni network. Really tap into older brothers in your chapter. And I'm not talking about within the past 5 years, but I'm talking about 10, 15, 20 years. It's so much wisdom. It's so much insight that they have regarding not just Kappa, but life. And I think about my chapter and how everyone does something different, and we all help each other. Someone is serving as someone's lawyer. Someone is serving as someone's accountant. I think about all those things. But you wouldn't know that if you did not tap into your circle, tap into your network. Show up at alumni meetings for your advising chapter. Show up, go to all of them, because it's important. This is how you foster relationships. This is how you foster rapport. This is how you get jobs. Show up and listen and see what it's like to run a alumni chapter, because you could very well be somebody's pole mark for an alumni chapter or whatever city that you're in, whether if it's in your state or somewhere else. Say yes. Say yes to opportunities. If it makes you feel uncomfortable, if it gets you out of your comfort zone, if someone asks you to do something, or if you get voluntold to do something for Kappa, say yes. because you just never know how that's going to add to your toolbox for life. Some of the skills that I've gained, public speaking skills, even when I preach, a lot of that is stemmed from writing speeches in undergrad. And so you never know where life will take you. But I think the seeds that you plant now in undergrad will definitely grow into something magical if you will allow it. I'm Brother Jermaine Pearson. I'm so glad that I've had this opportunity to speak to you and encourage you. And just let you know, keep pushing, keep achieving, keep achieving, keep thriving, keep being your best self and living out your purpose. Yo to the noobs.